My name is Reyna Montoya. I am the founder and CEO at Aliento, and I am a multilingual mind. When I was transitioning from the place where I was before, which was Mexico, I migrated from Mexico to Mesa, Arizona in the middle of 8th grade. I got enrolled in the second semester of 8th grade, and it was a very difficult transition. I didn't know a word of English. I was only in a classroom with 3 other classmates in 4-hour blocks for me to learn English, which included a girl from China, a girl from Russia, and a guy from Afghanistan. So I was the only one who spoke Spanish. So it felt really isolating of not having anybody to talk to. My teacher didn't really speak any other languages that I was aware of, and oftentimes she would put Harry Potter as like part of us to learn English, and this is why I don't like Harry Potter until today, because I felt that I wasn't really learning, and it was just a very difficult moment for me. I think something that I felt that it was very effective when I graduated from middle school and went into high school. I was only in ESL, or the English language learner classes at that time, for an extra year, and something that my teacher in high school did, I think, very effectively. She would only speak English to me at the same time. She was bilingual. I learned later that she spoke Spanish too, but even though that all of her structure was in English, she had this asset-based thinking, and at that time as a little girl I didn't know that it was that, but it was really seen that whenever I would struggle with sentence structures, I remember that being a Spanish speaker, you usually would put the adjective before the noun. That's how you do it in English, but in Spanish it's the other way around. So she would just like think about sentence structures and being able to guide me and be, okay, in Spanish you do it in this way, like in English we do it this other way. And she really tapped into my knowledge. I felt that she saw me as a human being. She saw me that I brought contributions, that I had some knowledge that made a difference of building something that I already knew and being able to transfer that into the English language, that I felt that was one of the contributors that made me speak English very fast. When I was learning English, I feel that there was like the social aspect to it, that I felt the pressure that I couldn't really communicate with anyone, and I started seeing that there were barriers from me that I wasn't going to be able to access. For example, in middle school, I remember that I was not allowed to enroll honors math because people had limited beliefs whether I was going to be able to do it. Also, they didn't want to do the rescheduling for me because the priority at that time was for me to be in compliance with, now I know, a state law of a 4-hour block that doesn't longer exist. There's a variation of it, but it doesn't exist anymore. I think that now in hindsight, I felt that when I was able to finally learn English, even though that it came with a lot of like turmoil, I felt empowered to see the diversity, that it came to have conversations even with the same people, but if they were bilingual, you could kind of navigate these 2 different worlds. And I was really curious of wanting to learn other languages. I ended up taking 1 year of French in high school, and moving into college I took 3 years of Italian, which was really exciting to see and learn about how other people who speak different languages see the world very differently, but also what are some similarities that sometimes we don't see. For example, I never thought that Italians and Mexicans would have so many things in common in the way that they grew up, the way that they see family, heritage, and culture. For me, multilingualism, it is essential. We live in a state like Arizona that we have so many languages spoken. Our number 1 trading partner in Arizona, it is Mexico. So we see that Spanish is something that is very prevalent here. I was a classroom teacher. Now I get to lead a nonprofit organization called Aliento, that is a word in Spanish that translates into breath. But when you give aliento to someone, it's like giving words of encouragement. So I see that really as a superpower, as a strength, where I'm able to communicate with maybe sometimes the students that feel more comfortable speaking English, but also when you throw some Spanglish, like you just see their faces light up because they feel that they belong, they feel understood. But also has been a really good linkage with parents, being able to explain to them about their student education, their opportunities, and being able to navigate that system has been really awesome. One of our partners is also the Mexican consulate, so we ran something that is called La Ventanilla de Orientación Educativa, which is really their education initiative, and we're able to be there and be able to build those bridges that sometimes when you are only monolingual in one language, it's hard to build those bridges among communities. So I feel that being bilingual in my case has been essential for not only the success of me as a young professional or now as a leader of a nonprofit organization, but really beyond that is to really support communities that come from very different walks of lives that sometimes are misunderstood, and we're able to be bridge builders in this component. My call to action to Arizonans to support multilingual learners is to be like my high school teacher that saw in me the potential of being able to strengthen my English acquisition through other languages. We see that nowadays we live in a very globalized world that it is pretty sad to see that the US is one of the few countries that don't really embrace being multilingual or knowing many different languages. And that's, I believe it is a superpower that you're able to build greater bridges, you're able to understand different communities and bring multiple solutions that are gonna help not only a few, but are gonna help the whole state and the whole nation. So my call to action for them is to embrace that awkwardness when it comes to maybe having an accent or that discomfort of curiosity, and really try to see beyond that and see the great strength that it can only bring to you as an individual, but whole communities, neighborhoods, states, and even the nation.